It is Tuesday, and that means it is a push from the loft, okay? Which last week, living in like an upstairs area, a loft as I call it, not great when those huge storms are coming through because they always say go to a basement, no basement. So not a good time last week during the storms, but that's over. We're here now. Let's embrace this time that we have together, right? Right. Okay. So really what I wanted to look at today is go over a couple of things with you real quick. Reiterate a couple of facts that we need to talk about from yesterday. I'll put some links out there for you guys to look at, and we'll kind of add on a little bit to the period 3 review, kind of tell you where the endpoint is here, like where we're going with it. All right, so I think that's important to be very transparent about what we're doing, why we're doing it, and where it's leading to. All right, so that's kind of where we're heading today. All right, so tip success. First thing I want to look at, AP, U.S. History, College Board. We looked at this yesterday, open book notes, open note exams. I want to reiterate, it's my word of the day, and I don't think I pronounced it correctly once so far. But I just wanted to make sure that we understand, if you take a ton of notes and have like 25 pages of notes for periods 3 through 7, you actually have no notes. All right. So you need to streamline this. Use the period review packets we've been looking at. Go back and look at your notes from earlier in the school year from the textbook, things like that. More notes mean like on lockdown. What that means is you have it far from on lockdown, and you may, in fact, be in bad shape. All right. A ton of notes means no notes. If you write the textbook, you got no notes. You got the textbook that you wrote down. Congratulations. All right. So don't do that. So we got to be very strategic in what we put in those notes, what we look at, and things like that. My job, the way I see it, my job is to go through these review packets with you guys. All right. Get those done. And we got to start making like those connections. All right. So like everybody finds this, not everybody, but most people find this degrees of separation thing that we do difficult. But in all honesty, it's maybe the most important thing we're going to do, especially with DBQs, because you got to make it's going to be a question probably over a broad period of time with this DBQ. You're going to have 5 documents, and you're going to have to make connections over time. So as we do those, we're going to do one next week, and we're going to do like that assignment 2 or 3 more times just for practice, because I think that's going to be where the points lie. That's going to be where the points are at. All right. Making those connections, explaining those connections. If you look at the rubric, and I'm putting all this stuff, I'm going to put all this stuff on Schoology links for you to look at. All right. But if you look at the rubric, when you break down the rubric, this 10-point rubric, it's going to be talking about, like, do you use the documents to make connections and connect it back to your thesis? All right. You all know how to write a thesis. All right. Although X, Y, because ABC thing. You know how to write a context statement, setting the stage. All right. This is what's happening, big picture. You know how to do all these things. You know how to use one of those HIP skills for a document. All right. You can do that. So it's about putting these things together and practicing them in a meaningful way. All right. There's going to be scrimmages available for that with the documents that we're going to be looking at later in the month. College Board's actually going to have some scrimmages like for that stuff as well, so you get practice. So you can practice with the lockdown browser. Here's what it's going to feel like. Here's what the test is going to feel like. And I think it's going to be extremely beneficial for you guys. All right. So I just want to be transparent about what everything I'm thinking and what everything that we feel like College Board is thinking going forward. All right. So there's the rubric. I'll be posting those links for these sites, or for this information on the old Schoology. All right. Another thing you have, this is for all AP classes, they have live streams. All right. So like U.S. History is right here, live stream too. I'll put the link up there. If you click on that, there's a playlist of review topics. And I don't think they've gotten to like period 3, 4, and 5 yet, but they'll eventually get there, where you'll be able to look at 45-minute video of a teacher besides me explaining U.S. history, all right, going in depth. And it's a College Board backed teacher who probably is a test grader, knows what they're going to expect. And so sometimes it's good to hear it from the perspective of the people that have been there and have graded those things. So I'll put this link out there. I encourage you, like, as we get closer to the AP test to take a look at those. All right, so I cannot see that being a bad thing. Uh-oh. What is that? Action needed for camel pride. We'll do that later. All right, so we have. Sorry for that interruption there. Da 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 da. All right, so all of those AP classes that you have are on there. All right, so that's something you can use not just for this class, but for all your classes. So that's pretty cool. All right. Next, real quick, just wanted to remind you where you need to be at by the end of today. And let me scroll up here. I will make no sound effects this time as I did yesterday when I scrolled up. All right, so you need to be through 1763 as a turning point and a push because get that get that submitted. A lot of you submitted it today. If you have not submitted it, that is due by the end of the day today. All right, the next part will not be due till Wednesday. All right, and the next part is going through after the turning point in 1763, Britain ends its period of blank by instituting a number of actions against the colonists. All right. If you said to yourself, I know what that blank is, it's salutary neglect, you would be correct. There's an answer. You're welcome. No, 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 no. Okay. You do that already, so it's whatever. All right, but salutary neglect, all right, it ends the era of that. Remember, salutary neglect was where Great Britain kind of let the colonies grow on their own. As long as they were trading with Great Britain in these mercantilist policies, they let them like rule their own colonies, set their own laws, have their own representative bodies. They let them basically just kind of grow up on their own. All right, and out of that comes a unique American culture. All right, and this unique American culture develops into a nation later on. And so it's like I told you all at the beginning of the year. The example would be is like beginning of the year. I come in. I'm like, here's the textbook. Here's the reading schedule. Get it done. And I just sit back, and you all go. And I may answer a question if you have it. I may check in with the test every now and then, but I don't really do much. And then after spring break, I come in and I'm like, all right, it's go time. We got to do this. I need a 3-page essay by Friday. I need you to have multiple choice questions answered. Here's some short answer questions I want you to look at. Here's some primary documents. Here's some secondary documents. And I start to micromanage, or I start to be a little bit more active. Like I've already set the precedent that like I'm hands off, I'm laissez-faire. You kind of just go develop on your own. Now, how would you all react if the salutary neglect thing ended all of a sudden? Like you're going to be frustrated. You're going to be like, why are you coming in now like this? You haven't been like this all year. All right. It's kind of like how the American colonies developed. And the that was formed after 1763 with Great Britain, it's a lot because of that. Like, you've never done this before. Why are you changing now? And Great Britain's point of view is, hey, we just fought a war in North America. We fought a war in Europe. We fought a war. It's basically like a global war, the 7 Years' War. It started in the French and India. It started in the North American colonies with George Washington. And we just fought this large war. We protected you. We kicked the French out. We've got all this new land. You can help us out a little bit. You can pay for these debts. And the American colonies were like, you're not even letting us go into the new land that we conquered with the proclamation of 1763. You're not letting us do all those things. Why should we're not going to. No, you're not going to start taxing us like this. Where were you 20, 30, 40 years ago with all this? Okay. So it's going to lead to a breakdown of relations. All right. So what I need you to complete for Wednesday. I really have a hard time not making sound effects while I'm scrolling. Is that weird? I feel like that's weird. All right, so list the British actions below, then list and describe the colonists' reactions. If you come to terms you do not understand, be sure to define them. That is found in the video. As you watch the video, the Jocks Ultimate Review video, pronounce your T's. Or you don't necessarily even have to watch the video because I'm pretty confident that you guys have in your notes what the British actions were and the colonial reactions. If you do those and explain it in your own words, we are good there. Have at least, I don't know, at least 6 or 7, I would think. All right. At least 6 or 7 British actions and colonial reactions that take us up to the end of the American Revolution. or to the beginning of the American Revolution. All right. Spoiler alert, because I know you all would find this anyway. The next page, there's a bunch of things right there, a brief timeline. All right, so you can use that to help yourself out. You just need to be through this page right here by Wednesday. All right, and the thing I'm going to be looking at that you submit is have salutary neglect filled in up there, and then have this filled in with your 6 to 7 events. All right, if you remember at the beginning of the year, like this is where Bad Blood came into play. Played Taylor Swift's Bad Blood, or T Swizzle, as I've also been known to call her. All right, so if I was cool, I'd play that right now as a little review. But really, like, I've stopped doing the song of the day because the audio doesn't come over well. It just sounds all awkward and stuff. So I haven't done that in a while. So now I'm just going to sing Bad Blood for you. All right, and it goes a little something like this. No, I'm not gonna sing it. I'm just kidding with you. You thought I was gonna sing, didn't you? You didn't. Okay. All right. So make sure by Wednesday you are through this. All right. And by Friday we will be totally done with this packet here. All right. There's not a whole lot more. All right. It looks like a lot, but a lot of it's information that you just need to take a look at, and it's easy fill in the blank stuff. All right, so we'll have stuff there due there Friday. I'm gonna have a short assignment on Wednesday that'll kind of go hand in hand with this. It may go a little bit off, be a little bit more creative on your all's part. It won't be like overbearing. It'll be a short little assignment. I'm not gonna spoil that right now, but hopefully it'll be something that you all find interesting. All right, so the inclination, last thing, this is where I'm just going to talk to you guys. The inclination here after spring break in this unprecedented situation we find ourselves in, like NTI classes, got to be pretty hard. All right. I had like 2 online classes in college at the same time, and there would be times I'd fall way behind on them. All right. Because it's not like right there in front of you, and it takes a lot of self discipline and all that. You all got like six NTI days. I had 2. I was like 22 with 2. That's a lot of 2s, but that's a lot of NTI classes. All right. So I'm keeping that in mind. And so there may be points, like most of you are staying on track, and I appreciate that. But if there's a point you fall behind, don't hesitate to ask for help or anything like that. Everybody's allowed a bad day. All right. So that doesn't mean like take 2 weeks off, but everybody's allowed a bad day, and just communicate with me. We'll get that going, because I know like your all's class loads, a lot of you guys, you're taking a lot of AP classes, and now you're taking them all online. That's difficult. All right. So I get that. I understand. My job is to prepare you for the APUSH test, and that's what I'm going to do to the best of my ability. But I'm also going to be understanding on those things too. All right. So just make sure we're staying in open communication. I tried to message everybody last week. If I did not message you, you got a message coming from me later on, just checking in on you guys. All right. So I hope you all are doing well. Other than that, it's time for the annual tradition of an awkward cutoff, where I don't quite know how to end this video. And so it just becomes something where I'm just like yammering and stammering, and that almost rhymed. I was almost a poet and didn't even realize it, but I don't know how to stop it. So it becomes super awkward. So we're at that time now. And so I really don't know how to